Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea, hope you're all well. So, you may have seen a community post on my YouTube channel recently. Basically, it's been a little bit of a slow start this year with regards to posting. I've been reevaluating everything that I'm trying to do. And one of those things was, just the kind of content. I want to make sure that I'm still enjoying what I do. Usually when I start thinking about stuff like that, I try to simplify everything and just boil it down to the things I like to do outside of, filming it. And one of those things is chopping and changing pedals and messing around with tones at home. I tend to do it a lot and don't always film it. So that's what I'm doing in this video. We're messing around with pedal boards. As you can see on the close-up camera to my left, I've actually set up a pedal board using various different pedals I've reviewed individually throughout the last couple of years. As I said, this is chop and change. I've just put a load of stuff together I think will be cool. First pedal we're hitting on the pedal board itself is the 29 pedals EUNA. Then we go to the Boss OC5, out of that into the Vezzpa by Beetronics, out of that into the Harmonious MONK by Jam Pedals, out of that into the Steel Park Overdrive by Black Country Customs, then out of that into the Bender Fuzz by JHS. It's probably my favourite from those Fuzz Legends series they did, it's insane. And then we finally finish off with the 29 pedals OAMP. From there we go out of the pedal board into this here ABY, as you can see, it's a Decibel 11 ABY. Because what I'm doing after we finish on the pedal board there is hitting the ABY, got one running through into my KHE amp switcher, and I've got the VX100 and the SLO 100 all rigged up so we can chop and change. But the other guitar signal is actually going straight into my interface, hitting Neural DSP Archetype Nolly plugin, because we're obviously going to blend it with some stereo rig goodness. And the best thing about all of this is we put the pedal board before the ABY, we get to affect both amps with these beautiful pedals, including the Archetype Nolly plugin as well. It just takes pedals, well, they all take pedals really well. But I'm just trying to give all the options here, and we'll see where we get to. In terms of the cabs, I'm running out of the load boxes on the analog side, and I'm running the Archetype Nolly plugin on the other side. So the cab section I'm using for my actual amps is Archetype Nolly. We're matching up the cabs, much like a video I did very recently, which I'll put in the description box about stereo rigs using VSTs and real amps. But that's the whole rig and signal chain. Hopefully John's cut that down to be nice and concise. We'll move through a few different guitars, but I kind of built this board to be aimed around that filthy blues in a more modern settings, as it were, so we'll start with the Strat. So before we get into the stereo tones, we'll start with the mono tones so I can show you the pedal board. Just to say, any reverb and delay that you are hearing are coming from my Apollo interfaces. I'm running the RMX16 expanded reverb and the Galaxy Tape Echo, so I can dial them in and out when I need them. Anyway, here's the guitar straight into the Kraken. So as you can hear, it's very much a crunchy kind of thing, and we haven't engaged any pedals yet. So first thing I'm going to do is throw on the EUNA. And the WAMP. Not to go on about these pedals, but they're very subtle in case you didn't hear anything change very much. I'm using the lows and the bright setting on the EUNA. Just pushes it a bit more, and then it just slightly opens everything up with the WAMP, as you can hear. So it's very subtle, but anyway, they stay on all the time. So next up, let's try the octave. So the OC5 very much sounds like that classic Boss octave tone and tracks really well, so I quite enjoy that. Anyway, we'll get rid of that for now. Now the Vezzpa I'm only using on the Stinger side, which is kind of like an Octavio thing. Adds a bit of fuzz as well, but it's actually tuned in quite low because I add it to the other pedals to get that octave sound, but just so you can hear what it sounds like. So that might sound a little bit weak and choked, but that's because I've set it low to add to other pedals. So we'll come back to that one, but don't make any judgments just yet. Next up, we're going to hear the Harmonious Monk. So that's the Harmonious Monk. As you may know, that's a collaboration between Jam Pedals and That Pedal Show, Mick and Dan. It's a really nice pedal, really vibey, no pun intended. Pun intended, actually. Anyway, so that's that. Now let's try the Black Country Customs. The Black Country Customs Steel Park Overdrive, the idea here was to give me a thick, sort of high gain tone. So this is without. Let's kick it in. That is great. It's thick and powerful. And I like the way that works, especially on the Strat. So that's the Steel Park Overdrive. Now finally, one of my favorite fuzzes that I discovered, I believe in the last year. I think that was when it was released. I've kind of lost track of time now with everything. But anyway, the Bender, the 1973 London Bender from JHS is such a good fuzz. So check it out. So it's a little noisy, but I think that is a killer sounding fuzz. The cool thing is now when I go back to the Vezzpa and add that stinger side, so you'll hear it turns into like an octave fuzz. So check it out. So this is just the Bender. Let's throw on the Vezzpa. Let's throw on the Harmonious Monk. So hopefully that was a quick breeze through all the kind of tones that we can achieve with the board before we move into the world of stereo. I like it. I like this particular combination of pedals. To be honest, I forgot about the Black Country Custom stuff because obviously you review so much stuff and you go through so many different pedals that it's easy for stuff to slip your mind, but it's a killer sounding overdrive. Really like it. But anyway, let's move on to the stereo element of this video. So the Archetype Nolly's pan to the left. And the amps are pan to the right. Here it comes together. I've just taken off the EUNA and the OAMP so you can hear the difference between the two. This is without. Let's throw them back on. So you might think that adds quite a lot, but the thing is when you start stacking overdrives and fuzzes, you want to hear that sort of definition in the top. I think anyway, because case in point, first things first, let's use that steel park into this without the EUNA and the OAMP. Sounds sick, but check this out. If I then add the EUNA and the OAMP, sorry about that little lick at the end. Sometimes your fingers tangle up whilst you're trying to play, but who cares? It was good fun, and it sounds awesome. I just think that's such a great sound. Okay, well, seeing as we're in the stereo version, let's just check out, I want to hear this fuzz. Sometimes when I'm riffing out, you know, it'll sound like kind of oddball, like that kind of really chromatic, but then I'll throw in like a bluesy turnaround, which just doesn't work. So you got this like... I mean, in some context it might work, but crack me up anyway. So because we can, I've switched over to my Chapman SIG, the ML3B Carthus burst with the silo, and it's way more like high gain lead guitar. And also I've moved over to the SLO and the tube amp expander, so this is what we've got. Let's throw on the EUNA and the OAMP. So first thing I want to do is throw on that Steel Park Overdrive. Okay, well that about sums it up for this video. My thoughts here are that I like this rig. Less so about the amps, we're talking more about the pedal combinations here, because, you know, the amps, generally speaking, I'll try and use like a crunch tone, whether that be through the VX100 or the SLO, whatever I've got here, it'll be like a push clean crunch thing. I think this rig sounds best with the Strat. I really like the Steel Park and the Bender as my kind of heavy tones for a Strat. Sounded absolutely monstrous on the SIG. But I feel like it really lends itself to the Strat because you know, you can hear the string definition. Of course, the 29 pedals are more utility at the minute, so I think if I do this again, I'll probably keep them off the board and let you know if I'm using them or not. The Vezzpa did the Octavio job I really wanted to do. I might keep that on the board and try something different, like add more of the actual fuzz circuit in there. But overall, I thought the tones that I was able to get were really nice. I think it lent more towards crunch and heavy as opposed to like a nice clean tone. It wasn't necessarily pushing the ambient boat out too far, but it's more like these are really thick, luscious tones for Strats that you know, that's the impression that I kept giving myself listening to it. I was like, yeah, I really like this for Strats. It'd be a good riffing rig, a good recording rig, good lead rig actually for Strats. But let me know what you think. I'm definitely going to carry on messing around with pedals because obviously I've reviewed so much stuff over the years that I literally have so many pedals, and it'd be nice to combine them in different combinations to come up with cool tones and see which ones stack well together and so on and so forth. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll put links in the description box where necessary. And of course, like, subscribe and share. Check out Sleepless Apparel if you haven't already. We've got a bunch of new stuff coming real soon. And generally, you know, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please subscribe. Check out my music, check out my channel. I've got playlists set up for all my sort of music and then reviews and everything else. But thank you for checking it out. I've been Rabea, and I will see you all very soon.